uh, we're bored all of a sudden.
Yeah,
All of a sudden,
we're just jumping right into the depressive stuff. It sucks to be to work in sports right now.
yeah.
It is very, very tough.
And my understanding, and I know this is pretty similar for both of us, all of our jobs are in sports. So I want to ask you about the radio show you do. First off, in my opinion, with Denton Day on SB Nation Radio, Tuesdays and Sundays, you're programming 4 hours a week for the last 2 weeks. You know, how different has that been? How difficult has it been to program an entertaining show?
Well, thank God for the NFL, really, because
Right.
they have them not stopping or not postponing the start of their league year has been crucial to those 4 hours of programming per week to give me something to talk about. Because I'll be honest, when this stuff first started happening, I think it happened on a Thursday where we kind of realized, okay, everything is done for the foreseeable future. And I had to plan 4 hours of programming for that Sunday. And you're expecting at that point in time, like you're previewing Selection Sunday, you're talking about maybe the ACC, Big Ten, all these conference tournaments that were supposed to be happening. And I was like frightened. I mean, I don't really get like really frightened about this job anymore. I've kind of sunk into a little bit of a comfort zone, but it was the first time in a while where I looked at this 2 hour slate for that Sunday morning and I was like, what the hell am I going to do here? Like, I don't have anything to talk about. And I credit guys like yourself and a buddy of mine, Joe Mixie, who helped me fill that. And I thought you guys each had interesting stories. So I tried to get a little creative on that particular day and talk about the impacts of people who work in sports that had their jobs ripped away from them unceremoniously for the foreseeable future. But yeah, man, it was scary. I don't often get scared by things in sports, but that was the first time in quite some time since I probably really started doing this that I looked at that and I was like, this is going to be a challenge. Like, this is going to be really difficult. But thankfully, like I said, to people like you and people that joined me that week and really been joining me since, it's made it a whole lot easier. That's one of the cool things about this time, because it is scary. You're seeing, though, a lot more people who work in sports are helping people who work in sports.
Right.
So everybody is much more open to jumping on and collaborating because we don't have anything to do. Like, guys and girls are supposed to be traveling to all these various cities and they're just sitting at home for 14 days. So that's the one nice thing. There's a lot more room for collaboration, but it's still a tough time for sure.
Yeah, it's almost poetic that we're speaking on what would have been MLB opening day because obviously this has thrown a curveball in every capacity, in every level of sport, right? You know, I told you semi-professional football, which I call the indoor football league, their opening should have been last week. And now we're looking at, okay, what the hell are we going to do for the next, you know, we don't even know how long, foreseeable future at least. But I want to ask you, you know, you've had a lot of interesting conversations that you referred to over the course of the last couple of weeks. And recently there was a psychologist on your program. You've kind of dove into all sides of this thing. So you're educated in this now, and you're educating your audience, if you will. So just talk about the different conversations you've had over the course of, I don't know, the last 2 weeks that have been so different than your traditional conversation that you have in your programs.
Right. Well, the fact that I am now educated does scare me a
Congratulations.
little bit because I feel like I have no idea what's going on. But the psychologist was really cool. His name was Dr. Michael Gervais. I don't really know how he stumbled upon me because he actually reached out to me.
Oh,
But it
really?
was someone that he worked with, someone on his team got my email. And granted, I'm not the most difficult person to get in contact with. My email's plastered basically everywhere on my social media. But they reached out to me and said, like, hey, do you want him? And I was in the process. It was Monday night. And I was in the process of booking guests because I am trying to go a lot more guest heavy than I normally do because, quite frankly, there's nothing to talk about. And I was like, yeah, this will be perfect because I was trying to get a white whale that works on ESPN that you see frequently on the mornings, and that was unable to happen on that Monday. But I got this the psychologist, and he had some really great stuff to say. It was one of the best, worst interviews I think I've ever done. It was the best because he had so much great content and so many great things to say and to hopefully lift people up. It was the worst, though, because I had about 8 questions written down. And I think I maybe touched on 2 of them. So just like from my personal standpoint, I didn't get to everything I wanted to because the time constraints. But that was a cool conversation. The conversation I had with you and Joe Mixie on that first Sunday was a cool conversation because I think it helped really put things into perspective for the sports fans because I feel like sometimes people don't always realize that there is sports broadcasting outside of the major networks and the major companies, because you think of ESPN and CBS and Fox and all of these companies that'll do the March Madness games. And it's like, well, they're out of work. Well, yeah, a lot of those people are salaried though. Not everybody, but a lot of those people are living pretty comfortably. But there's people like you and like myself and like other people who are trying to make it in the industry. And now for the foreseeable future, a spot in time which we were supposed to utilize to hopefully make big progress in our career journeys, well, that's been ripped away from us. And it's not something that you can just kind of fix in 2-week time frame. I wish it was, but so I think those conversations have been the coolest. And then of course the Tom Brady thing. So I got to talk to a guy from Tampa Bay, and the Tom
Yeah.
Brady thing was just crazy in general. That's definitely more of a sports oriented type topic that really helped me fill content time. But I've had a lot of great conversations, and again, it's one of the only great things about this weird time frame is that we're able to collaborate with people that we wouldn't normally get to
Yeah.
do it on and do it more frequently.